It is such a mishmash at this point, and there's so many belts. I mean, bro, to me, I don't know how you do anything other than winner take all.
Mm.
And when the winner takes all, we're going to one belt.
Speaking of gimmicks, let's talk about Seth Rollins. Let's just do an overview of his run as champion now, the World Heavyweight Champion, and I think it was pretty much, forecasted from a long time ago that was going to be his championship. So he wants to make the championship more active and more prestigious on Raw and things like that. Let's start off by this. Does it, even with Seth Rollins as champion, does the title still feel lesser than Roman Reigns' title?
It absolutely does to me, Chris. And it does because it honestly feels like we can't take these titles off of Roman, so we're just gonna create another title. I mean, I don't know how it could feel any different to anybody else. I mean, Chris, that's basically what they did.
For sure. Yeah.
And and that's to me, like, and it has nothing to do with Seth, but whoever is the champion,
yeah,
I would feel the same way. To me, like, that was the premise, which means this champion's never going to be good enough to beat Roman.
Yeah, it from the gate it felt second best, and I, like I said before, it's technically third best because Roman Reigns is the champion of the WWE and the undisputed champion. One brand had the WWE championship, he won it. One brand had the Universal Championship, he won it. So he won the title for both brands, and now they need a third belt and have all three belts on the line. How do you make it make sense as far as it not being just feel like a consolation prize, despite Seth Rollins saying Roman Reigns is, he doesn't defend the title. I want to be the one who defends the title. Like, how do you make it make sense?
Chris, for me, it is such a mishmash at this point, and there's so many belts. I mean, bro, to me, I don't know how you do anything other than winner take all. And when the winner takes all, we're going to one belt. I don't know how you don't do that without it continually being so confusing, bro.
Yeah.
I want, bro, winner take all. We're going back to the belt Bruno Sammartino had. Whatever belt that is, that's the one belt we're going back to.
Nice. Yeah, man. I'm conflicted because, like I said before, there's just so many people on the roster. You know what I mean? So, like, you're already just poorly booking so many people. But at the same time, if you want to make two brands, make two brands. You know what I mean? Like generally make it two brands. Don't just, it's like, I used to be a really big boxing fan, back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. So with Tyson and Holyfield and just different, Lennox Lewis, for instance. So they had a bunch of different boxing federations, WBF, the IBF. Mm-hmm. And so you would have a bunch of different federations, and then the champion would go and vie for the championship of the WBF, of the IBF, and so forth. And so he would win a bunch of belts from a bunch of different federations. So he would come out, 3-4 belts, right? But so it's happened before. I mean, even, they have weight classes in UFC. Conor McGregor, was able to go back and forth in different weight classes. Same thing with Daniel Cormier, same thing with John Jones. So there's different weight classes and there's different federations within boxing and UFC. So with that logic, you possibly can have two world championships, But the problem is you don't have the light heavyweight class going against a heavyweight, competitor, or you don't have like some big merge of the IBF and WBF like intermingling with each other. So you have to make it distinguished. If you have a different champions of different brands, I'm not too opposed to that because they're two different brands. But if you keep bringing them all together, you don't need two world champions for that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
This is what AJ Styles said to this about this title as far as it being secondary. He said this to the New York Post. He said, "Is it a secondary? Well, if the Raw championship is held by Roman, the SmackDown championship is held by Roman, then how can you argue that it's not? We had to make a new championship because Roman holds it all. What happens if he decides to wrestle for the World Heavyweight Championship? Is it what it is and what we got? What we got. It is what it is, and we got what we got. If we make the best of it, and if when Roman does challenge for it, if and when Roman does challenge for it, we beat the brakes off of him, whomever it may be, then we'll see what title secondary." So basically, essentially what AJ Styles did was admit what I just said. So it is a tertiary championship, essentially. Logically, it is a tertiary championship because the Raw Reigns has the Raw and the SmackDown the SmackDown Men's Championship, and this World Championship is a tertiary belt. So then he had to gimmick it up and say, "But if we do if we do compete against them, then we're going to beat them up." You know what I mean? So he had to make it. He had to put that WWE, sprinkle on it just to make it not seem logical.
Yeah,
like he started. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I swear to God, bro, I'll never forget because Jeff Jarrett and I always used to argue over this. This is what Jeff always used to tell me. You can't bring logic into an illogical business. And what I used to tell Jeff is, bro, it's only illogical if you make it illogical.
How my logic is I would ask Jeff, was that comment illogical that you just said?
Yeah, right. Yeah, So basically, what I'm saying is, it's illogical.
Yeah,
bro. This is all illogical. But Chris, what has been our topic of discussion the last month? They will buy anything, bro. They popped when he introduced the belt. They popped. Why? Because it's a new belt, and now you can go online and order that belt.
$500.
Bro, this is probably, there are a lot of things that make no sense on the show.
Yeah.
This one thing is probably the biggest.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I think eventually we may have some type of, I don't think we'll get a merge because it's been 10 years since the World Heavyweight Championship was disbanded and they brought it back, after a 10-year absence. So they're not gonna wait 10 years and then bring it back for a hiccup and then take it out. But my thing is that we've got to do something with Roman holding two championships.
Bro, I would do something as crazy as this. Let Roman compete for it. Let Roman win it.
Win it, absolutely.
Then, bro, let Roman say, bro, I ain't walking around with 3 belts.
Yeah.
I got to go through airports. Literally let Roman, bro, in the old days, I'm going to melt all the gold together and we're going to have 1 belt because I cannot be carrying 3 belts around with me. I literally would do something like that. Then whatever the name of that belt is going to be, and then go from there. But that's the thing, Chris. It's illogical. It's illogical. It makes no sense, but that WWE universe will buy anything, bros.